Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about leveling in TBC, talking about should you dungeon grind, should you quest, should you do some of both, what is overall going to be the best for your situation and what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm also going to be talking about some misconceptions about reputation, specifically when you're trying to get your heroic keys so you can start doing heroics. So let's get right into it. The first thing I do want to talk about is that misconception. I've heard this repeated numerous times, and that is the idea that if you are not doing dungeons while leveling, you will be in bad shape for reputation at level 70. And even more, I've even, I guess, more inaccurately, being spread around is the idea that you stop getting reputation from dungeons at Honored. That is only true for the low-level dungeons. That is not the case for the higher-level dungeons like Shadow Labyrinth, Shattered Halls, for example. So Black Morass, those dungeons are going to continue giving you reputation, even all the way to Exalted, right? So you do not need to do low-level dungeons followed by questing to hit Revered. That is not necessary. You can just do the dungeons at 70 to get reputation. So that's the first thing I want to clarify, because there's been a lot of misconceptions about, it's been common, stream on Twitch, link in the description. And every single day I've had someone say, like, how are you going to get reputation if you're not doing dungeons and then quests? How are you possibly hitting Revered because the dungeons stop giving you reputation? And that's just, not only is that not the case, but how everyone used to play back in original TBC and even on private servers was the vast majority of players got their Revered reputation just from doing the high level normal dungeons. That was just what you did. You just ran a bunch of Black Morass, you ran a bunch of Shadow Labyrinth, and boom, you're Revered and ready to do heroics. So that's the first thing I want to clarify. Moving into leveling, right? I kind of highlighted, one way of leveling there, but let me list out, some of the popular options. So number one, there is some really crazy stuff that you can do where you can, if you're like a mage or a warlock, I'm sure there might be some other classes that can do it too. But right now there's some people that are just soloing slave pens 1 to 70. And that's probably like one of the fastest ways that you can get to 70 is by soloing slave pens. The pros and cons of that one. By the time you hit 70, you're going to have no gear. You're not going to have reputation with really anything except Honored with Cenarian Hold. And you're not going to have done any work on any of the pre-quests for any attunements or any chain quests that can reward pre-raid bisque level gear. So one of the fastest ways to 70, especially if you're a solo player, but leaves you with a lot of work to do at 70. So even if you might hit 70 faster than other people, you're kind of behind most people as they hit 70 because you're going so fast. So that's one way you can choose to level. Another way that people have been going that's really fast is pure dungeon grinding all the way to 70. All they do is spam dungeons in a group. And now this is the most important thing that I've seen people misunderstand, right? Doing dungeons is not quick in terms of experience. It's not that good. What is fast is being in a group that is extremely geared, being in a group that has a game plan for how to do the dungeon very quickly to efficiently get experience. And what's also going to get you a lot of experience is spamming dungeons over and over with the same group, right? Just doing dungeons is not going to get you, put you in a position where you're going to be getting tons of XP, right? You need to get those factors in line so that you're actually efficiently going through the dungeons. Now, if you are accomplishing that really efficient dungeon grind group where you've got a group of players playing together for a long time in a row, pumping out the dungeons, you are going to be able to, get reputation with each of the factions to Honored. So your reputations are going to be in really good shape. Your gear is going to be decent. You're going to be, again, missing out on a lot of the quests that you can be doing. So there are going to be some like pre-raid bisque level items that you're going to be missing out from questing, but you're also going to be picking up some nice close to pre-raid bisque items from just doing dungeons as well. So overall, your gear will be pretty good. Your reputations will all be pretty decent all around Honored, and you're also they'll all be Honored because you should be doing enough dungeons. And you should also be able to start on your attunements so long as you just, take a step outside the dungeons to start some of the Karazhan attunement process. You can get some of your attunements partially completed. You can't step into Alcatraz until you have a flying mount, but you can at least get some of the attunement process for Karazhan started. So that is the approach of doing, the pure dungeon grinding. Another method that is popular that I think a lot of YouTube guides have suggested is spamming dungeons until you're honored with the reputation and then questing after that. That is going to be the option that gives you the most reputation out of everything. And also, if you're, clever with how you do the quests, you're going to be able to, set yourself up for some of the pre-raid bis quests as well. That items that are really good from quests, you can set those up as well. So that is, in theory, one of the best options as well. But again, it relies on you having a good dungeon grind group, which is not something that is going to be super easy. And then the last method I want to talk about is just pure questing. And I think a lot of people have some misconceptions about questing. I think questing is quite efficient, and you can actually go really fast. And the main reason why I think questing would be a bad option is, number one, if you're playing a spec that just really struggles to level. This could be, just a class like warrior, which, especially if you're under geared, is not the fastest leveler. This could be if you're spec'd as a tank or spec'd as a healer for doing some dungeons, and you just, aren't able to quest as efficiently. Or this could be, if you end up playing, you just don't like questing, I guess would be another downside. But if you are questing, not only is it going to put you in pretty good position with reputation, again, not as good a position as if you did dungeons and questing, but you're actually going to get more than honored with certain factions as you quest. And you're not really going to be seeing that you're going to have a particular issue with reputation relative to people who just dungeon grinded. The people that grind and quest have the best reputation, but again, just questing, you're going to be fine with reputation. With honor hold, you're going to be, past honored. Same thing with the Cenarian guys, but some of the other reps like Lower City, you're probably going to be, not even honored. So it's kind of a mixed bag there, depending on which reputation you're interested in. But another big thing about questing is you're actually going to be really nicely geared. And it depends on the class, but I would say at least for Rogue, you're probably going to be slightly better geared, coming into level 70 than someone spamming dungeons, just because of how many good items you can get from quests. Really, the only thing that you'd be missing out on would be good weapons. And so if you can polish those off at 70, you'd be in a really good position, as there's a lot of really good questing items that are pre-raid bis level. So in conclusion, I've kind of done a summary of all the different types. The main takeaway from this video is, number one, you are not trapped in terms of reputation ever. You can always do normal dungeons at level, the level 70 or close to 70 version of those dungeons, and you will get reputation still, even past honored. And number two, you really shouldn't be doing dungeons in a dungeon grind or dungeon spam fashion unless you either enjoy it or you have an efficient group, because questing is actually quite fast. And I've seen countless people that are, so intent on dungeon grinding because it's the meta, that they're camped out at Hellfire Ramparts or camped out at Coilfang Reservoir, waiting for groups and just not doing anything else. And they're waiting, hours for groups, 20 minutes for groups, 30 minutes for groups, and they're just crawling in terms of leveling. And so I really just can't stress enough that if you're trying to go fast or you're just doing dungeons because you think it's the faster way to 70, potentially reconsider and potentially try doing some questing if you do not have a solid group to speed through the dungeons, because that's really where the speed is at. Just doing dungeons at a normal pace and then waiting for groups is not very fast. So hopefully that clarified some things. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how you maybe can level your characters. For my characters, I leveled my rogue 1 through 70 exclusively questing. I did not do a single dungeon in any fashion. And I also have a warrior that's level 64, and that character has done every dungeon once for the quests. with the exception of, I repeated a dungeon because I missed a quest, but I've basically done every dungeon once, and besides that, am questing. And that is also a good strategy for classes that maybe struggle with leveling, or if you're under geared. That way you can be a little higher level when you do the quest as well. So with that said, let me know what you guys think. What do how have you guys been going on your way to 70? This is a little late. I've been busy leveling, so apologies for a little later video. But I've been busy hitting 70, and hopefully this helps some of you avoid some of the pitfalls. And with that, I guess I'll leave you to watch me finish off Love Exists here as my last quest to 70. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.